Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Cut Podcast. This is where we chop it up with the world's finest. Today, I'm here with,
Sahil, I'm a real estate investor in Toronto.
and today I'm going to be asking them those deep questions that you guys won't want to miss. Check this out, guys. Tell us a little bit more about what exactly you do and like how you got started doing this.
Sounds good, man. So I started in 2010. I was an investment banker in Wall Street before that. Graduated 2008. Went to New York, did the whole finance dream. Uh, Shortly after, came back to Toronto. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start something on my own, and started working for Nestle in sales because I didn't want to be in a desk job, and started buying real estate.
Oh,
That's
nice.
2010. So 14 years fast forward. Today I own a portfolio of $25 million. I've got over 18 properties in Toronto. When I
Nice.
say Toronto, like,
Yeah.
good Toronto, not even the GTA,
Oh,
like
really?
all Toronto.
Nice.
And I manage over 42 tenants. I build luxury homes all over the city. So yeah, I got a good thing going, man.
So, what made you, I guess, do that switch?
Honestly, like finance was good, but it just wasn't my calling, and I miss Toronto too because I was doing that in New York, right?
And New York
Um, and
wasn't fun.
and it was not fun because I was working 16, 17 hours a day, and if you know investment banking back in the day, it's insane. But I wanted to do something on my own. I wanted to build something on my own, and I wanted to do something I enjoyed, and I just didn't enjoy finance, right? So that was important to me because like I'm by nature a very lazy person, and I have to be self-motivated to wake up in the morning and actually go to work. And if something doesn't excite me, I'm not going to do it. Period. Right.
I
So
mean, are you a lazy person, man? I mean, working there is pretty damn hard to
when
accomplish, no?
when you say lazy, like I will always look for the fastest, quickest, most efficient way of doing something. You know how some people are like, all right, let's put in the work and let's analyze and let's really spend the time and work hard. For me, it's like, what's the smartest, quickest way of finishing a task? And I think
I
that's a
mean, I don't know if that's lazy.
yeah, I guess it's maybe you call
Like,
it more efficient.
yeah, more efficient. That's a good word.
Yeah. And I think that habit or that's what got me like really scaling fast. I also came to this country on my own in 2003, so I've also like got that whole thing about like just being very independent from day one, right? Like I've never relied on anyone else. So I think starting a business is very similar. You have to do it on your own. It's your baby, right?
Mm.
So yeah, it worked out well. And back in 2010, when no one else was doing it, I was buying properties, and everyone thought I was crazy that getting a finance degree, I'm getting my realtor license. But today, it's the most glamorous thing in the world to do, right?
That is true. That is really
Yeah,
true. So when you moved here, was that for school, I guess, right? Or no?
yeah. I went to Laurier in 2003.
Okay. How was that experience like? Did you have fun? Did you
Laurier
not
was
like it?
sick. Laurier was unreal. I don't
Yeah.
know how universities are now. I mean, we're talking about a time where we didn't have cell phones in university, bro.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was a good
Oh,
time.
okay. Okay. I see what
We
you're
had
saying.
flip phones, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, university was amazing. It was a great experience. And for me to like come from back home, India, or come here and go straight to Laurier, it was like a huge cultural shock.
Mm.
But I loved every moment of it, made some amazing friends, and I have those friends to date.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's interesting experience for sure.
So what did that like? I guess so. Which like really teach you now thinking about that back on it? Like, what do you think that like taught you till this day that kind of still sticks with you in some ways?
Adaptability is, I would say, number one. And what I mean by that is like just adapt to a situation that presents itself, right? Like we didn't have a choice back in the day when we moved here. We didn't have guidance. I literally I can relate to a lot of immigrants coming now to the country where you just come, no family, you got to do it on your own, figure it out on your own. Even like small things like cultural differences of what to eat, how to make friends. I had to do it all over from like ground zero, right?
Mm.
You're 18 years old, you're in a brand new country, you have no friends, you just start from zero. So
Mm.
you're like you will automatically start becoming more adaptable to the situation, right?
Mm.
So for me, I think that was huge. I learned very early on how to like make friends. I had the skills of like, and I think that kind of like spilled over into my sales ability of really like being able to like sell it all real estate. Like I've sold over $400 million in real estate today, right? Like I'm like,
The goat.
yeah. So well, you could say, well, I guess my results are speak for themselves, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like it took a long time to learn, and I think all the time I was just like, how do I make friends? How do I blend into a society? How do I like come into a new country and learn how to like just make people like me? That kind of spilled over into my sales and helped me in my career.
So how long did that like? I guess being like how long did it take to be fully adopted to like this? I guess
I want to say
environment.
like 2 3 years and I was good. I've always been an extrovert, even back home, right? So it doesn't take like I have a very thick skin. I have the ability to like hear no from people or hear no from like let's say early on in your dating years, like girls say no to you. You go to a club. You used to go find girls in clubs. There was no Tinder. There was no technology. Like it's built into me to hear the word no and not take that very personally and not take that in a way that it discourages you. I've really learned to like convert no's very easily because of that thick skin that's been engraved in me from day
Mm,
one. You know what I mean? So if you come into a country, you do everything yourself, you push it through yourself, you're independent, you learn how to survive, you learn how to like excel, and then you apply those same skills. By the time you're in the workforce, you're a beast, just
mm-hmm.
from a mindset perspective. And that's where I think a lot of immigrants have that advantage over people who are comfortable being born here. You know what I mean?
So where do you think that like I guess inner drive came from? Like originally.
Not having enough money all my life, pretty much through the childhood into my teenage, into the early 20s, I've never really had the ability to spend money without worrying about money.
Okay.
And that was a huge motivation for me to like be able to like have enough to like never worry about money. I think that comes natural.
Okay.
Also, I have been smart with my money because I didn't have a lot of money to waste, and having now the ability to have good in terms of being good financially gives me the ability to value it more, right? Because I know what it is without having money.
Hmm.
So I would say a few years to like it took a lot of effort, almost a decade of doing what I do to like really get to a point where I am.
So let's say like you were raised in a completely different family
Hmm.
where like you were like completely rich, like you
Yeah,
guys had no financial difficulties at all.
yeah.
Where what do you how do you think you would be today?
I don't think I'd be who I am today. Like I
Mm,
think a lot of the entitlement today's generation, especially the ones that have money and they've been coddled all their life, they just to expect people to give things to them, right? For me, I never expected to take from people or have people give me anything. For I've always had to earn it,
mm,
and that has come very early on in my life. Like today, I'm like 37, 38 years old, like, and I have almost like I have a house on the lake. I drive the best car. Like I have, pretty much everything that you can get for being under 40. I don't think it would have come that quickly because a lot of the lessons I learned very early on. So it
mm.
helped me like not make the same mistakes twice and learn from my mistakes really quickly to be able to excel quicker than a lot of people, right?
So have you seen that like since some people were definitely raised in better circumstances, have you seen that like reflect in their
I
life?
just don't think they've roughed it out, man.
Mm,
Having to like really rough it out and go through the trenches to like then come out of it and come out of it on top is a whole different personality versus like a person who's been coddled all their life. They don't have that much motivation, and it's almost like when they go into the workforce, they haven't had any like mental training to be able to have the zeal to go and excel. You know what I
mm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, no.
So when I see like younger kids, like I mentor students in like for example York or Ryerson, and when I see the difference between students that are coming from like not so great backgrounds versus people who are very comfortable from where they come from, and I'm not saying I'm being very general. I'm not saying every person's the same. I'm sure like people from rich families with like good values, I'm sure they have it ingrained in them to be smart, but I think like in a majority or in a general consensus way, you will find people who are not from very like rich backgrounds have a lot more success in sales, success in like businesses, success in entrepreneurships, than people who have come from like very given backgrounds. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
And like how like in what other ways besides just like your career has that like drive helped you if you could? think of any.
Well, I travel a lot. I travel a lot on my own. I travel like, I've done backpacking through different countries. I've like, gone to the Amazon. I've done a lot of things. Like I just feel like I've seen a lot. Like I've seen a lot of health issues, broken injuries, playing sports, this and that, and I've always had the ability to overcome,
Okay,
you know?
nice.
So if you go through a lot and then you come out on top, you start believing in yourself that situations can't just put you down like that. Some
Mm,
people who haven't gone through enough situations and then bad things happen to them, they just get like, oh my God, what is happening? For me, it's like, I've seen worse. I can get over this.
do
And
you
all of a sudden, you have that mental mindset. You know what I mean?
do you believe in like very 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 quick like success is possible or no? Like
I
very
mean,
quick.
unless you're winning the lottery, unless you're buying a tech firm, unless you're, a Bitcoin 1%, top 1% person, like, no. I think in a general way, 99.9% people will see good success through working hard and working consistent and doing things with the right intention
Mm,
and doing things with the right idea. Like, all of it has to come together, right? Your idea, your experience over time, your consistency, your
mm,
mindset. It all has to come together to be able to, like, reach the 7 or 8 figures that you're trying to be, right? So,
mm. So a little off topic. I remember you mentioned that you went to Laurier. What was the craziest thing you experienced in Laurier?
bro, I can't tell you that on camera, but yeah, like you want to hear a bad story or a good story?
All right, let's hear your most embarrassing story at Laurier.
Embarrassing story at Laurier. I guess when I just moved here, I did like 2 or 3. I did summer school in high school, and then the fall I was in Laurier, right? Now I'll give you an example. Like back home, I grew up in boarding school, right?
Okay.
I was in like a military boarding school, and when me and my boys and me and my friends were eating, it's very normal to like in our culture to like just take from people's plates. You know what I mean? You just like
Okay.
take a bite out of like your friend's food is very normal.
Yeah.
Like you share food, you eat together, and like you just eat from other people's plate
Yeah.
without permission. So when
Okay.
I made friends here in the first few months and I was doing that, they're like, "Bro, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you eating my food?" Right? So I guess that was pretty embarrassing. And again, this is just like part of learning, right? Because there's no one there to tell you.
Mm.
So, I mean, I was blessed to have amazing friends and they thought it was hilarious. But one of the most embarrassing times where I was in a big group and I started eating from people's plate, I was like, bro, you lost your mind.
Has anyone ever gotten like super angry at you though? Like
Yeah,
for
I
doing
mean,
that, like super angry or
no, no, not super angry, but just they're just in shock, right? Like, what are you doing?
right, they made like a
I'm like,
weird
what? You
face.
can take from my food too. Like, what's the issue, right? Because all my life I've eaten like that. So, man, I'm talking about like more than half my life I've lived here now, right? I've been here for like what 22 years, and I came here when I was 18.
Yeah.
So this is like we're talking a long time ago.
So did you not have any other like any plans to move back to your like home country though, or like you were always like I'm gonna stay here, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like
move
once
here.
I moved here, I was pretty much moved, right? We didn't have that much opportunity work-wise back home. So, but now I enjoy traveling back. I enjoy going back. Like my whole family is still back home, right?
Hmm. Okay.
So I lost both my parents in the last few years, but I still have my sister. I still have my like distant families and stuff like that, and
And
I love
and
going back.
and your sister lives there? Or?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
love going back now, like just to like enjoy the culture and like just eat good food and meet old friends. And I travel a lot,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
I'll go back like every year or every other year.
So your old friends there must
Yeah,
be super old friends. Like,
yeah. We're
do you?
talking like teenage friends, right?
How often were you like visiting them though? Like,
No, I wasn't going just to meet them. But what I'm saying is like when you go back to like when my dad was sick, I was gonna go live with him for a few months. You meet your old friends and you pick up where you left off. They're like close
oh,
friends
okay.
you like grew up with, right? In high
Hmm.
school and stuff like that. So
So are you very like in touch with like all your friends and family to this day, or is
yeah,
sometimes work gets in the
I
way?
say like for a good 7 to 8 years, I was so obsessed with work that I used to work long hours and whatever. There was a long period of time I ignored my personal life.
Yeah.
And but now in the last few years, I've become more conscious about like taking time to like spend time with the right people, right? Like, and as I said, like last year or so, until last year or so, I was working like crazy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like we're talking like start morning, finish in the evening, thinking about work all the time. It wasn't healthy. Now I like focus a lot more on myself, my health,
So
family, friends.
what made that? What made you change though? Like,
Where I hit a ball in 2021. 2021 I closed 62 deals. I made like, more than $1 million just in commission.
mhm.
Um, I bought like I was on my 16, 17 property. I was managing tenants myself. Like I hit a wall. I burnt completely. And I had to take my appendix out. I had stomach issues from stress. So it became very serious, like
Oh,
I was
so
like
you're just overworking.
yeah, so I was like fuck, I got to slow down. And then I obviously there was no balance in my life. And again, like you're talking about somebody going from like having 20K in their bank account to like having more than 17 properties and almost closing in on $30 million in assets, right?
Mm.
It doesn't just happen with luck. I had to work like crazy. So I forgot I didn't care for anything else. So, and don't get me wrong, I love what I'm doing and I was obsessed and I loved real estate, but it was becoming unhealthy.
So for people who don't know what the average standard is in real estate, what is it? Because I actually don't know what
What do you
average
mean by
standard
average
is.
standard? Like in
Like
what
you
way?
said, you closed X amount a
Oh,
year. Like
so
what is that?
and just so you know, like 90% of real estate agents do 2 deals a year.
Okay.
95 extra 5% will be 10 to 12 deals a year, and the top 5% realtors do 95% of real estate transactions, and I've been top 1% for the last 7 years.
So wait, how does like why do you think the 95% don't get like past that point?
Incompetency.
Just like
Incompetent people who shouldn't be doing real estate are doing real estate for the wrong reasons. They watch Selling Sunset, they think, if you do a closet upgrade and do your hair and like, dance around, you can like go sell real estate. That's not real estate, man. That's like amateur hour.
so what goes behind like being able to sell like a whole house? Like that's crazy. Like how do you
I mean, you obviously start with marketing, prospecting, relationship building to be able to get enough leads. Leads need to be converted into, closings with a lot of customer service, a lot of knowledge, a lot of sales, a lot of due diligence, a lot of behind the scenes work. And
mm,
eventually you come to a point where you do it over and over again, and the results of people buying from you are excellent and the word spreads, right? Like my business, 90% of my business comes from referrals, and a large portion of it is now with my marketing and Instagram.
mm.
So I would say last 2 to 3 years, a lot of that lead generation has shifted onto Instagram, but before that, it's just always been referrals for me, and that doesn't come without doing good work.
So does would you say like a lot of the sales like in real estate does it have to do with like personal brand or like not at all?
Personal brand is one, but you also have results to back it up. You can't just have like personal brand will bring people to your office.
Okay.
It won't give them a very well rounded property that they will get a return on. That comes with competency and infrastructure and your ability to like give people amazing returns, right?
Mm,
And I focus on that. I specialize in that. I buy real estate for myself. So people see me as a real estate investor first and an agent later, right?
mm,
Bad analogy, but let's say if you're cutting your own hair, you're like, oh my God, this guy's haircut's amazing. Who gave you your haircut? Well, I gave myself a haircut. The fact that you can give yourself a haircut and you can give someone else better haircut, yes or no, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's how, like for me, it's like I know I can do really give you good results because I have gotten really good results of buying real estate. And that
Mm,
is another difference. Most real estate agents don't even own a single property,
mm.
but they're there out there selling property and becoming experts of selling property. How
So
about you buy?
how do you know if like a property is actually gonna like return value?
A lot of different factors, right? Rentability, area analysis, comparable analysis, future growth, zoning, uh, permit potentials,
Mm-hmm.
value add propositions. Is the house old? How much, like, if you add on to it, it will give you. So a lot of different analysis. If I
Okay.
could break it down in 30 seconds, just like I would say, just a lot of due diligence, right?
Okay. Okay. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So how long would you say it took for you to become like a pro like real estate like
I
and
want to say
pro
my
real estate?
first 3 to 4 years, I was pretty good at it, but I was doing it for myself, right? 2010 to 2014, I was not an agent, I was an investor.
Okay.
So a lot of the results were coming from my portfolio in the first 3, 4, 5 years. So honestly, after like the fifth or sixth year, after going through a few mistakes and like perfecting my model and day in day out fucking putting hours, like I think by the fifth year I was doing really well for myself and my clients.
Mm.
5, 6 years, I think, and people don't take that as a short. Like 5 years is nothing. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, right? So,
Mm.
I mean, it takes 10,000 hours plus a lot of results. You could be doing 10,000 hours of stupid work. It doesn't make you an expert at that, right? So,
That's true.
10,000 hours of experience plus results will make you an expert.
So would you say like throughout your entire journey, have you had a lot of like people that like have helped teach you, or like it's mostly been like taught?
Self-taught. I'm very self-taught, and I like to be self-taught, and it's a bit stupid sometimes because I will. My only motto in life is don't make the same mistake twice.
Mm.
So I follow my mistake book. I made a mistake once, you bet I won't make it again, and that's my learning curve.
Mm.
So initially, you're doing like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then you kind of just pick up speed.
So you've never really had like a true like I guess mentor.
No, I would say like the best only mentor I've had in business and entrepreneurship was my dad, right? Like he used to just give me advice from behind the scenes, but other than that, I don't even have enough attention span to read books, believe it or
Mm.
not. So not as much, I would say. I would say a lot of it is like on foot experience.
So was your dad an entrepreneur too, or
Yeah, he was a businessman back home.
what type of
Like
business would
import, export, he like dip his feet into a lot of different things, but he's a smart guy. And he did a lot for himself, his family, and getting me here. And like it's a lot of sacrifices, man. Like immigrant parents never have it easy.
Mm. That's true. So do you remember to any like recall to any like specific moment in your childhood that like I don't know still has an impact on you today on the way you like carry yourself?
Mm,
And if
like
there
a
was,
childhood story, you mean?
yeah, sure. Childhood story.
Like, let's say, for example, like I used to play cricket a lot, right? It's so
Yeah.
cliche coming from India and playing cricket, but I used to play professionally,
Okay.
like under 16 and all that stuff, right?
Nice.
And I remember there was like this huge game that we lost, and a lot of that responsibility of winning was on me, and I let my team down, and it was just like came back home and I was just really beat about it. And just my dad just telling me like, I'm really happy you lost. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about, right? Like this sucks that you're saying. He's like, because this loss will teach you way more than any win would have ever taught you, because it gives you that learning ability to first of all manage your expectations, humble yourself in situations, and also to essentially just like go back and take that frustration out on the field the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, use that anger, use that disappointment and put it and out in the field and become 10 times better. Well, that's just like stuck with me.
Mm.
You take bad situations, people give up too easy, right? So
That is true.
I sound like fucking Michael Jordan right now, but you know what I'm talking
No, no, don't even worry about
about.
it. That's funny. So how do you know whether to be confident or cocky?
I think the separating factor between confidence and cocky is your ego,
Yeah.
and also and when I say ego, what I mean by that is people who are confident don't take pushback personally.
Mm.
If I'm confident somebody's questioning me on my game, I'll be very professional to have a very normal conversation with them to be able to make them understand and give a very fair argument in return, right?
Mm.
I don't get flustered. A person who has is cocky will take that as a offense right away and take it very personal. Like, why are you asking me? Don't you know who I am?
Mm.
That's the difference between cocky and confidence. So when I talk to people who are cocky or confident, I will try and throw a personal shot at them to see how they react. And that's how I test people when I invest with them and work with them.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, for example, you're cutting my hair. I'm like, hey, man, like, I feel like your fade's a little too low. Now, if you're an expert and you're confident in your fade and you have the way, you'll be like, look, this is the reason why I gave you a low fade because your hairline, blah, 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 right? Versus a cocky person is like, why would you ask me? I'm the expert. That means it took it as an offense right away.
Okay.
Cocky, confidence.
Yeah. No.
Confident people are also very empathetic and humble.
Mm.
They don't care for other people's opinion, but at the same time, they know how to explain themselves without taking it personally.
So, what do you think out of like all the bad habits in the world? What do you think is the worst bad habit to carry?
Just like entitlement. And I think it's the reason why I say that right now is because it's too much in Canada, man. Like entitlement, meaning I should deserve this. I want this. Give me this. Like, and that is become very like, it's like almost like a liberal government mentality that's like gone into everybody, where it's like, I am a tenant, so I should have more rights than the landlord. I deserve a good, like, nobody wants to work for it. Everybody just wants handed to them. And to me, it's a big turnoff in a person.
Yeah, no, I can see
Nobody wants to work. They're like, oh, I deserve and I should get. And then they sit and then they wait for the universe to like hand it to them, right? That's entitlement.
that. So, let's say like you were to start off from ground zero, right?
Hmm.
What would you do to become more successful than you are right now?
If I was to start from ground zero, what would I do to be more successful than
You are right now.
and knowing what I know or starting over from like as a baby
Uh,
again?
no, I mean,
That question's it's
hmm,
twisting me a bit.
hmm. Oh, that's a good question. Uh, maybe. No, you don't know what you
Then I would just like
know. Actually, you do, you do,
you
you do,
do
you
know
do,
what you
you do.
I would not give social media as much importance as people do. Especially in my industry, especially in sales, I think people are now really underestimating the power of personal relationships. And that to me is everything. That to me, if a person who's young and he's starting out and he still believes that there's other ways of also like building a brand, because I feel like social media is too overblown now. It's saturated in a
That
lot
is
of ways
true.
too,
That
right?
is true.
Everyone's doing it. It's like blah blah blah. I'm not saying you shouldn't do social media, but I'm saying you can't rely on your entire success on social media.
That is very true.
Like I don't know how you like when you're doing what you're doing, and one of my really good buddies is a barber too. Like like his entire business is built on referrals, right? If you cut good hair, you get more and more clients. People get attached to like a barber, and then you have that relationship. Versus like you posting and getting a lot of leads through a cut, right?
Yeah.
It's a balance. But you
Yeah.
can't put all your eggs in one basket and say, all right, the only way I'm gonna like get business is by posting.
Mm.
So.
So since you're talking about a lot of like social media and stuff like that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
since a lot of people grow up in different ways, especially these days, like picking up from the young generation, what do you think are some things that they're doing really good these days that you're like, you know what, wait, that's actually pretty impressive.
I think the young people, one good thing about young people today is that they know a lot more than a person when we were that age. Because there's freedom of information. There's so much information for people to know, right? And then if they are able to use their information without getting too confused, without getting too overwhelmed, or without, I would say, going to too much information mode, they can use it to their advantage.
Mm. So my question is, when do you think technology can completely? I actually had this specific question with someone before,
Hmm.
but I disagreed with them with what they said. But
Okay.
when do you think like technology will be able to like fully take over like surgery?
Surgery.
Yeah, surgery.
I think they're
Or
already doing hair surgeries. They're
like
already doing like a lot of surgeries, lipo. I got my appendix taken out through one of those like appendectomy. Like there was like a very small needle that goes in. It's all computer, bro.
really?
Yeah.
But like,
Laser surgeries are all computer.
actual like cutting you open
I'd say
and
another 10 years we're gonna have like robots opening us up because they think that there's zero chance of human error, right? But do I want that to happen? Fuck no.
yeah,
Do I want to live in that world? Absolutely not. It's scary.
yeah.
Like the other day they showed there was like a robot that had Chat GPT installed in them.
Okay,
That's scary, bro. That robot knows more than you.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever like seen anything like that in person yet? Like any technology?
It's weird. I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and I stumbled into like a robot shop,
Sure.
and they were giving like basically like these robots that make you coffee, the robots that give you, and even these restaurants that's like served by robots.
Yeah, man,
It's
it's
fucking
crazy.
trippy, man.
I know, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to grow up there. How old are you?
You can guess.
Bro, you're Asian. You could be 20, you could be like 30. You looked exactly the same.
That is true. That is true.
21?
I'm 18.
Oh, you're 18?
Yeah.
Hustling, man. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
I love it.
I actually go to Ryerson too. So when
No
you said you
way.
actually,
I do boot camps there. You know your boot camps?
I actually don't know
Okay, okay.
that stuff, but
Um, that's amazing. You're 18. That's really cool. So you're still studying and doing this on the side.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Literally.
That's impressive.
So do you like teach at like those events basically? Is what you're
Yeah, so
telling me?
there's basically like boot camps.
Yeah.
So I used to teach sales.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so it's basically like how to sell a person, what are some of the things like everything in life, service or product has to be sold.
And you usually only have like a couple hours, right? It's only like one session
Yeah,
kind of thing.
so they're like 1 hour, 45-minute classes,
Yeah.
and then you come back next week again, and then that's your boot camp.
Okay, so it's like
It's like a 2 day power boot camp.
oh, okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. And like, are these for like students
Yeah,
all ages or?
yeah. Let's say some Ryerson boot camps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How'd you end up with that position? Just like they reached out right
Yeah,
away?
yeah. So I love getting involved with younger students because I also think that universities are bullshit now.
Mm,
I think a lot of I don't know if I think there's a big disconnect between what they're teaching you in university and what the workforce requires you to be successful. Does
mm.
that make sense?
No, definitely,
There's a huge gap.
definitely,
So the
definitely.
stuff that I do is I come and fill in that gap.
Mm,
I give people reality checks. I give people the ability to speak. I give people that education that they require to be business owners.
mm,
And that all is linked back to sales, relationships, mindset, qualification, rapport building,
mm.
handling objections, that kind of teaching.
So, what's one moment that you remember you were like talking to like I guess much younger person, right?
Hmm.
Could be even like a baby, and they just taught you something crazy. You're like, no, wait, what the? Like, you're so like, wow. You're like, yo, like no way.
It's really dumb. You're gonna fucking laugh, but I was talking to like my nephew,
Yeah.
and I was teaching him
Time. Okay.
time, like
Yeah.
clock.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
remember I
Okay.
was in Singapore. We were getting my dad treated there, and I was hanging
Yeah.
out with my nephew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, we're gonna teach you time. So then this kid is like a fucking he's got a question mark on his forehead all the time, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I was just like getting irritated. I'm like, oh, this is the small hand, this is the big hand. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah.
So he's like, can I ask you a question? He's like, why do we look at time?
Yeah.
I'm like, just so that we're prepared in the day to do what we have to do, that we can plan, we can organize. He's like, okay, so do you think that dogs, birds, cows, all the other animals in this world know time? And I'm like, no, probably not. Like, what will they say if you ask them what time is it? And I'm like, they'll probably say now, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, technically, like what that kind of like gave me a little like
Wait. What?
it gave puzzled my mind because I'm like, man, it's such a human made thing.
Yeah. That's
People
true.
don't live in present. People always are like oh, what am I gonna do tomorrow, or what did I do yesterday?
Mm.
Well, nobody focuses on what are we doing right now, and
That
time
is true.
and time is such a big, it's such a huge portion of our life.
Mm.
How would the world have been if everybody was just like, all right, we're doing what we're doing in this moment rather than planning all the time, right?
Mm.
So
That
I
is
don't know.
true.
It's just such a weird answer, but you
Wait,
asked me a random question, so that just came to mind.
he like completely
Yeah, it's
focused.
like
You're
a
like,
fucking 5 year old, man. I was like, man, like I'm not teaching this kid anymore. I'm like, you're right. Live without time.
it's crazy. I mean, is he like known to like adopt like really fast to a lot of things, or like is he
Yeah,
just like,
he's a smart kid, but I mean, that's a valid question, right?
yeah,
Which other living organism in this world looks at time?
that's crazy. He just asked you that.
Yeah. I was like, does the dog know time? Does the cat know time? Like,
Man,
no.
he was really testing you. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Are you like really close to your nephews or?
I mean, they live abroad, right?
Yeah,
So as much as I can. But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
again, man, I've tried to like focus more on like family and different things in the last few years because you'll realize one day when you have a lot of things that at the end of the day, like what really matters is good relationships,
Mm.
good family, and you can have all the money in the world, but it will never give you that satisfaction other than family, right?
So
Friends, good people, good energy, good positive outset.
so
That's all there is, right?
since you've like I guess started to pay more attention to friends, family connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
What has that brought you back in the gym?
Maybe a little bit more. Like I think it came after I lost my parents too, right?
Okay.
I lost both my parents in the last few years, and I realized how much I didn't spend any time with them,
Oh,
right?
okay.
It gave me a bit of like more like a resentful. I started becoming a little resentful towards my work.
Oh, like you're like, man, bro,
I
like,
just literally spent my
yeah,
entire
yeah.
15 years working,
I see, I
and
see.
I didn't give a shit to like spend any time with my parents.
Mm.
And now I don't have them, and now I'd give any kind of money to like have one day with my mom, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I left the country when I was 18 and I never got to spend any time with my parents. I don't even know how it's like to have parents.
Mm.
So that kind of like just gave me that realization that money is not everything.
Mm.
And
Well,
money is a solution to a lot of fucking bullshit, but it's not a solution to like inner peace kind of thing, right?
yeah.
So you're like, bro, I'm 18 years old. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, no, man, come on. So would you say like you've made any new, like not recent, but like any connections with people that kind of like you can consider family now, or no, not really?
Yeah. I've had tons of close people in my life.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, how do you know when you can call someone like a really close friend, where you can trust them with a lot of things?
I guess loyalty is a big one, right? And loyalty goes everywhere. Like even in my business, my trusted handyman, my trusted plumbers, my trusted admin,
Mm.
my trusted friends. Like, can you trust
Mm.
loyalty, right? How much will they stand with you when times are shit?
Mm.
And but you also need to know how to like reward loyalty, right? So
So why do you think like unloyal people are so common these days?
I don't know. Culture has become very weird. That's a good question. I think everybody's just trying to make a buck quick, man. And they don't have time for like fucking going above and beyond for if it's not anything for them.
Mm.
They're like, rather not be part of this.
Mm. No, yeah, it's so unfortunate, man.
Yeah. But man, you're 18. I can't believe you're crushing it right now. I like that. I like the
I
hustle.
mean, same thing as you, man. Like with your awards and stuff. Like, you don't. It's kind of hard to receive compliments and stuff, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're starting out early. That's the way. And
Yeah,
you're getting out there on your feet. It's
yeah.
huge.
Thank you so much. Like when you were like when you just got here and like you really started your like work life, were you like traveling a lot everywhere, or were you
No,
always like
I
just
didn't I didn't travel as much because I don't have the money to travel as much.
mm,
Basically started my travel more like in my mid 20s.
mid 20s?
Yeah. That was like the heavy travel time, right?
What was your favorite place to travel to?
Still is. It's like Thailand.
Why?
because I fucking obsessed with Thai food.
Oh yeah, you just love
Yeah,
the food.
like I love the fucking weather. I love
Yeah.
the people. They're just the nicest fucking people on the planet, I think.
Mm,
They're all super nice. The food is incredible. It's the most beautiful beaches on the planet.
mm,
And I just love like exploring. Like I'm huge into like I don't think I'm religious, but I've
yeah.
started really liking like these Buddhist kind of like fucking, temples, and there's a lot to
Yeah.
explore in that
Oh,
country.
okay. Just
Like,
like history, right? Like
yes.
history.
And when I say food, man, like, have you tried their fruits, their coconut water? Like, it's like fucking food here is like
tell
garbage, bro.
tell me what's like the best like Thai dish.
Basil chicken, man.
Okay, and then
You're getting me hungry now. I don't want to talk about this shit,
no, it's
man.
all good.
No, fresh veggies,
Hmm.
fruits. I just feel like food in Canada has also become shit.
And what's the alright? What's the best Thai place in Canada? No.
I like Chiang Mai.
Okay,
Yeah, it's on Lakeshore and Parkland. It's one of my favorite restaurants.
but is that even close to the food actually in Thailand? Or
Zero. It's a different cuisine.
really?
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest difference between those like types?
Authenticity, freshness, ingredients.
Hmm.
I'm a big foodie, so
Yeah, no, no, me too, man.
I
Like,
love seafood. I
yeah,
love
man. Like,
prawns.
if I were to like,
Plus, I love the exploring that country, man. Like, if you go down south, you can like even go into like jungle hikes. Like, I'm huge into like going into like jungle hikes.
yeah,
So there are forests. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of the Fifi Islands.
no, I haven't. What
It's
is that?
insane, bro. It's the most beautiful place on earth.
So,
Just go Fifi Islands. You like deep sea diving. You can do like all kinds of like deep water.
are you not like? Do you not get like kind of nervous when you're? Because like I
Mm,
was really young when I attempted to go
yeah.
scuba diving, and I was like, man,
I'm
bro.
an adrenaline junkie, so
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
No, I'm like, man, like, what if this
And
like
then,
thing just
yeah,
closes on me?
second best place, which also is like huge, is like I would say like Guatemala and South America.
Yeah.
I've traveled that country too. I did the volcanic hike there.
Okay, so
So you travel on the mountain and you go see a volcano erupt.
so
Pretty
rank
crazy.
from all the places you've been, rank them just solely based off food. Like three
Food,
places, top three places.
food.
Yeah, three, straight
I would
three.
say Thailand. Second would be India.
Okay.
The food, the street food there is like you can't match. And then Istanbul, Turkey.
Man, I've heard good things there too.
Yeah, Turkish food is unreal.
Crazy.
Best kebabs you'll ever have. Yeah,
Oh
Middle
yeah.
Eastern cuisines.
Okay, now just rate it overall, top three, everything.
Mm,
Think
I
about all
want to
the
say,
experiences.
yeah, I want to say Malaysia was one of the best trips also. Malaysia was good. Thailand,
So Malaysia's one.
Oh, it's from your ranking.
Yeah, top three.
Still say Thailand in terms of experience.
Yeah.
When I went to the Amazon in Colombia,
Amazon. That's crazy, man.
yeah, and then Guatemala when I did the volcanic hike.
Did you see any freaky bugs there?
Buddy, we saw bugs, saw snakes, saw panther,
Yeah.
all kinds
What's
of
your
shit.
what are you afraid of? Like what's phobia that you have?
It's natural, bro. Like both my parents died from cancer. Cancer.
Okay.
It's
I don't
something
know if that's
it's
a
something you
phobia
don't have
though.
any fucking control over.
Yeah.
No, it becomes a phobia. I've turned it into a fucking phobia.
Oh, okay, okay,
Like
okay.
don't eat this, you can get cancer, don't
Oh,
eat that.
okay, okay. I see what you're
Other than
saying.
that, zero fears. I don't have any fears. Like I don't have fear of like what else? I don't. I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of like
Do you
I don't
want to
know,
line up
fucking
the front
clowns
by
or
the way?
something.
Do you line up the front?
No,
No.
just very, very, yeah, just a little cleanup if you can,
Sure.
but no, no lineups. Nice.
Like do you line up these parts at least or no?
Yeah, sure. Just a
Yeah.
very little,
Yeah.
not like a straight line, just cleanup.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. I see what
no,
you're saying. What about like these parts?
just cleanup.
Really, you don't like anything like that?
Just you want to try it anyway?
Let me see.
It's not much there, bro.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
you're. I think you're. I
just
think
the
you're.
cleanup, yeah.
I think you're. Anyways, like, so if you were gonna recommend someone somewhere to travel, it'd be Thailand for sure.
Thailand, 100%. It's also a safe country, right? So that's also helps.
Mhm.
Like I've been to China, I've been to like different countries, but I would say Thailand is most. travel friendly. Actually, just went to Vietnam recently,
Oh, really? How was it?
which was cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool country.
Have you ever
Weather was
been
a
to
bit
like?
off, like it was cold,
Yeah. Have
but
you ever been to like I don't know like Tokyo or something
I
like
that's my next.
that? Bro,
Japan's my
I've heard
next.
crazy things about it.
That's I'm most likely gonna go in September.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Japan's next for me,
So
100%.
you're just crossing off all
Asian
the
countries,
yeah yeah.
yeah.
That's
I've done a
crazy.
lot of South America. I haven't done that much Europe.
Man, you have to go to more
Yeah,
Europe.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like, where have you been
Greeks,
in Europe?
Greeks. I've been to Brussels, Belgium,
Okay.
London.
Yeah. Was it was
Um,
it was
London,
it
like
very
I
gloomy?
just, yeah, it was just like fucking
Depressing?
depressing. Yeah, but it's all right. I mean, the food was good and
How was
shit, but
that
also it's like
breakfast?
crazy expensive.
Really?
It's like, value for money is
I feel
garbage.
like
I've done like Vegas and Miami and all that
have
other.
you have you done like Paris?
No,
I feel like that'd probably be the same as London. I don't know. That's
yeah,
just like
maybe, but it's worth seeing. I'm gonna go to Paris. I'm gonna go to Greece. I've heard Greece is beautiful, and Italy,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Those are definitely like I'm saving those for like later
Oh,
part of the years because I
okay.
feel like you can enjoy it more. Right now, I gotta
Wait,
like,
wait, you said Greece and Italy?
hey,
To a soccer game before? Like an actual like
no,
I haven't been to one either,
no.
but like
Are you into TFC?
I'm not, but are you?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay, no, yeah, I'm
I
not.
don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything either. What about like any sports in general?
No, man.
Anything?
I just like I said until 2 years ago, I was just a workaholic. So I didn't care about sports much. I didn't care about anything else much except for working.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I don't know. Sports bores me a little bit. I don't know
Hmm.
why. I'll watch tennis here and there, but
Man, really?
some games are cool, but that's
Tennis, bro?
it.
Out of all sports?
Basketball here and there, but I mean I was on the Toronto bandwagon when they won, but that's it. Raptors bandwagon.
Nice.
Kawhi.
It's
That's the last I watched basketball.
all good, man. It's understandable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, like, let's say like when you retire, right? Like,
Hmm.
what's gonna be like your leisure activities, man? Like, what?
Travel. I love the water.
Yeah.
So I've got the house on the lake, so I'll probably just go like paddleboarding a lot, biking,
Yeah.
nature stuff.
Okay.
But I mostly travel. Nothing brings me more pleasure than travel.
So tell me more about that volcano, like that you saw. You said you saw
Yeah,
like
so we went to Guatemala. Um,
yeah.
I didn't know much about this hike. I just
Oh,
signed up
you're
for it.
okay.
And then next thing you know, you're supposed to like climb 3,000 meters above sea level.
That's
And I
crazy.
was like just going uphill for like an entire day. And we got to the top, and middle of the night there was a volcanic eruption. It was insane.
Like it was planned. It was
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
eruption
yeah,
was
yeah.
planned.
It's like an active volcano.
All right, so since we're done the cut now, it's time for my favorite part. If you were to give any piece of advice to someone watching at home, if they're trying to achieve a goal or do anything big in their life, what would you tell them?
Learn from your mistakes. Don't think of mistakes as a setback. Mistakes are one of the best guidebooks you will ever have in your life. Just don't make it the second time. Note it down. Be conscious of it, and do not take that as a setback. I'm telling you, mistakes are the best teachers in the world.
Awesome, guys. So make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get this podcast going everywhere. I'm going to leave a link to all my guys' socials down below as well. So make sure you guys go check them out. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next episode.
See
Peace.
you later, guys.